Hello to all my friends and family, and welcome to this episode of Jim's 5am Club. What I'd love to do today on this perfect, absolutely perfect Port Stephens winter's day is to share a beautiful sunset with you and to also go through a powerful book entitled Radical Candor. Be a kick-ass boss without losing your humanity. This book was published on the 14th of March 2017 by an author named Kim Scott. What we'll do is we'll just check out the magnificent vista from up here atop of Mount Tomaree on this most perfect day and see what we can accumulate, what we can add to our inventory of knowledge, skills, and potential power. So this book here, Radical Candor, has a number of lessons, and what we'll do is we'll step through each of these lessons and see where it can lead us, where it can take us, and hopefully what we can incorporate into our personal and business lives. The first key message that comes from this author is the necessity to practice radical candor. One needs, where possible, to balance caring personality with challenging directly to create a culture of open communication and honest feedback within the professional framework and also within the family environment. It's important to put together the building blocks and create, as the author says here, a culture of open and direct communication where one fosters an environment where team members and family members feel comfortable sharing their thoughts and their opinions, but also have a growth mindset where they thrive on constructive feedback to enable them to fine-tune their abilities in order to grow and develop. The author here mentions care personality and challenge directly. And what does this mean? What this means is that we need to try and balance empathy and understanding with direct and honest feedback to help team members grow and develop. And it is a fine line, because what you don't want to be is too empathetic and too direct. But being empathetic and just trying to understand how others feel isn't going to help you give them the proper feedback in order to enable them to grow and develop. So what the author here is suggesting is that one needs to avoid ruinous empathy and obnoxious aggression. One needs to steer clear of being too nice. The author describes this as being ruinous empathy, because you're not helping the other person if you're seeing that they're going down the wrong path, and in order not to hurt their feelings, You're leading them and allowing them to engage in themselves, basically, from a personal and a professional perspective. The other end of the spectrum, as we mentioned, is being too harsh, which the author describes as obnoxious aggression. One needs, where possible, to strive for radical candor, the balance between both extremes. This requires emotional intelligence that one needs to develop and harvest. Recognise the importance of emotional intelligence in leadership and develop self-awareness, empathy, and the social skills in order to make the most of your opportunities. As we detailed before, one needs to cultivate and curate an environment of growth and development, and to foster a growth mindset, encouraging a growth mindset within your team framework by recognising that abilities and intelligence can be developed through effort and learning. They're not necessarily innate. You can grow and develop any skill once you have the roadmap. Another key message from this author is to prioritise feedback and coaching from people that you trust and that people who are leaders in their particular field. Providing regular feedback and coaching to help team members grow and develop and create a culture where feedback is valued and encouraged is the ideal. We're moving along now, and the other thing that the author talks about here is to emphasise collaboration and teamwork. You can't do it alone, and you need to do it with assistance from the right people where possible. And once again, this requires one to foster a culture of collaboration and teamwork, recognising that diverse perspectives and skills are essential for achieving common goals. And the last point to come from this book, from this wonderful author, on this most magical mid-north coast sunset, is that leaders need to lead with vulnerability and authenticity, because it's through this leadership style where vulnerability and authenticity are incorporated. These traits are essential for building the necessary trust and credibility with your team. But as we all know, everything needs to be balanced, everything needs to be weighed up, and it's all based on situational awareness and situational leadership. Not everything works for everyone. There's no one step fits all. So the authors here finally say that applying the principles of radical candor to all your relationships, with balancing, caring and challenging to build a stronger, more meaningful connection, is something that is of great value. So thank you very much for joining me on this episode of Jim's 5am Club. I've been able to walk up here today after injuring my knee about 6 months ago. It was a relatively serious injury, and I didn't really think that I could be able to climb to the peak today, but I did it, and I did it easily, which for me is a great relief. So thanks very much, and I look forward to seeing you and chatting to you again from another place and with another message of empowerment, where we take OPE in the form of book summaries and share with our friends and family and create a community of knowledge. And I've got over 2,270 videos to date. My library of material on personal development is without doubt the biggest in the world in terms of volume and variety, and I will continue to grow this library for as long as I have my physical and mental capabilities. Take care, wishing you all the best, and I look forward to coming to you again from another place and with another message of empowerment. Jim from Jim's 5am Club, signing off. Bye for now.